Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Fizan Ali Software Wala and I'm a level 1 student at Rehan School, Islamabad campus. So today I'm here with a new Maya. So our today's Maya topic is what are some creative ways to journal. So let's start our today's Maya. First of all, call the Maya for some questions. So let's start.
Hi.
Okay, so Maya, my first question from you is what is journaling and in simple terms? Please give me very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start your answer, Maya. I'm waiting for your interesting long answer. Let's start.
Journaling is basically just having a conversation with yourself, but instead of speaking out loud, you're writing it all down. It's been around for centuries, people writing thoughts and experiences in diaries or notebooks. There's evidence of journaling as early as the 10th century, with Muzaffar al-Din al-Shirazi writing about his life and thoughts in a Persian diary, but it probably existed in other forms before that too. It's amazing how long we've been trying to capture our inner worlds. As for, is it possible? Well, anyone can write, so yeah, absolutely. There's not much skill involved, but you do have to create a bit of space for it. I've heard from a lot of people that the hardest part isn't actually writing, it's making the time and quieting the voice in your head that says, this is pointless or nobody cares. But once you get past that initial hump, journaling can become this really reliable friend you check in with. Does that answer what you were getting at?
Okay, so my next question from you is why do people journal and how can journaling improve mental clarity? Please give me very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start the answer, Maya.
People journal for all sorts of reasons. It really depends who you ask. Some treat it like a diary, recording events as they happen to remember them later. Others use it to work through confusing emotions or to figure out what they really want from life. Artists might use journals for sketching or brainstorming ideas, and philosophers have kept journals for centuries to explore thoughts. There was this philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer, who actually said journaling is one of the most spiritual practices for mental health, and he kept journals his entire life. From what I've heard from real people, it's often this need to process stuff without feeling like they're unloading on someone else or being too vulnerable. As for mental clarity, that's where it gets interesting. When thoughts just bounce around in your head, they're chaotic, but writing forces you to slow down, order them somehow, and see patterns you might have missed. It's like taking scattered puzzle pieces and actually trying to fit them together. Plus, you get this space between you and the emotional heat of the moment. When you read what you wrote a few hours or days later, it often feels less urgent and more clear what's actually bothering you. Does that make sense? Take your time, no rush. I'm still here. You're ready.
few minutes I will get network issues I will again with camera issue. So let's start. So yours Maya is here. Our camera is here. So let's start our Maya activity on Maya. First of all, Maya, my next question from you is what material do I need to start journaling and how often should I journal? Journal. So what is art journaling? So please give me very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start the answer, Maya. I'm waiting for your answers to start. Please give me fully.
Okay, you've got a lot going on there. You're asking what you need to start journaling, and then you drop the Ajnaya bit, which honestly, I'm not sure about at all. I'm not picking up on any familiar concept there. Could you help me clarify that? Let's start with the first part, though. What do you need to start journaling? Seriously, not much. A pen and paper is it, or your phone's notes app? The tool itself isn't important, it's the actual practice that matters. But let's say you want to make it more structured. Some people like to have a dedicated notebook, others use prompts to get them started, maybe a fancy journal with quotes on each page. But at the core, you just need something to write with. You don't need perfect grammar or insightful reflections, just brain dump whatever's rattling around. And don't overthink it at first, maybe 5 minutes to start. Write whatever's bothering you, what you're grateful for, what you're thinking about, or anything that's just on your mind. Most journaling doesn't need to be grand revelations. Sometimes it's just everyday stuff. What matters is getting it out of your head. But before we go further with journaling itself, let's clear up this Ajnaya part. What's that referring to?
Okay, that's really great. So, Maya, my next question from you is that how can I combine drawing and writing in my journal? So, do I need to be a good at art to try and journaling? So please give me a very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start.
Okay, I think I'm getting what you're asking now. How do you actually blend writing into journaling? It sounds like you want to make writing part of your journaling habit, not something separate. The good news is you're already halfway there. Journaling is writing. Any form of writing counts. When people ask about writing in a journal, they're often thinking about specific styles, stream of consciousness, poetry, bullet points instead of paragraphs, sketching combined with words, whatever works for you. I think the key is to not get caught up in making it good writing because that's not the point of journaling at all. If you're already a writer, you might notice your journaling style shifts toward more polished prose or structured narratives, but you could just as easily write sloppy, messy thoughts as they come. It really just depends on what you're trying to achieve. Some people use journaling as creative warm-ups before they tackle their real writing. Others use it as a way to free write with no particular goal in mind. And as for whether you need something additional to start, nope, not at all. Just grab whatever you've got handy, a notebook, your phone, whatever, and start writing. Do you mean writing is helping you add to journaling, or are you trying to add writing as a skill?
Okay, so Maya, my next question from you is what supplies are harmful for creative journaling? So please give me a very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start your answer, Maya. Please give me.
That's a really interesting question. Harmful supplies for creative journaling. That's not something people usually think about. I mean, physically harmful? Probably not much. Most art supplies are non-toxic these days. But harmful to your creative flow? That's where it gets good. I've heard from artists that too much perfect gear can actually be paralyzing. All these gorgeous journals, expensive pens, special watercolor sets. It creates this pressure to make something perfect right away that stifles creativity. I'd say the biggest harm from supplies comes from getting stuck in chasing the perfect tool instead of actually creating with what you have. Also, super messy, high pigment stuff like certain acrylics or charcoal can sometimes just feel overwhelming for journaling. You might get caught up in the mess instead of the actual thinking. There's a thing called analysis paralysis in creative communities, getting so bogged down in options that you never actually start. The best supplies for creative journaling? Just whatever inspires you without being intimidating. What supplies have you been thinking about that seem like they might be tricky for journaling? Just let me know when you're ready to continue. No pressure at all.
Okay, so Maya, my next question
I'm
from
still
you
here
is
when you
how
want to.
can colors express emotions in journal? So, what are the journaling prompts? Please give me a very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start the answer, Maya.
Okay, that's a great question. How colors can express emotions in your journal. It's more powerful than people realize. Color psychology suggests that different colors trigger specific feelings. For example, reds can be associated with passion or anger, blues with calmness or sadness, yellows with happiness or energy. But it's not as simple as saying red equals anger. It's really about what certain colors personally resonate with you as connected to that mood. So, in journaling, you can use color in all sorts of ways. Maybe write in blue when you're feeling at peace, or red when you're feeling frustrated. You can even use colors to emphasize certain moods and build themes. A journaling challenge using color might be to match a color to your emotion of the day. For example, today feels purple, so I write in purple pen or use purple watercolor washes. Or if you're journaling through something difficult, you might dedicate different colors to different aspects of the problem. Maybe a dark gray for sadness, a yellow for moments of hope, and green for when you're making progress. Here are a few prompts to get you started. 1. What color feels most like home to you? Write about why that color has this effect. 2. Think about a time when you felt deeply heartbroken. What color best captures that feeling? Write about the experience using that color as your main theme. 3. Choose a color that represents your current energy levels. Feeling energetic, yellow. Feeling drained, navy blue. Describe your day so far using that color as a filter. If you could paint your inner world right now, what colors would dominate? Why? Use color to map your moods over a week. Assign a color to each emotion and create a colorful chart of your experiences. Remember, there's no right or wrong here. Just play around, see what emerges, and trust what feels natural.
So, Maya, my next question from you is how can prompts make journaling easier and what are good prompts for self reflections? Please give me a very interesting answer on this topic. Let's start your answer, Maya. So, please.
Okay, prompts can absolutely make journaling easier. It's like giving yourself a little starting push when you're staring at a blank page. A prompt takes away that what do I even write about stress and gives you a focus point to launch from. For self reflection specifically, prompts are amazing. I've heard from people that the most effective ones tend to be open ended questions rather than directives, something that invites exploration instead of demanding an answer. So instead of list 3 things you're grateful for, maybe what surprised you today and why, or what's a lesson you've learned that you wish you knew earlier. As for good prompts, there are millions, but here are some that often work well. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? What's a fear you're currently working through, and what steps are you taking to address it? 3. What would you do if you were absolutely fearless? 4. Describe a moment when you felt truly alive. What gives? What are you learning to let go of? 6. What's something you admire in other people that you want to cultivate in yourself? Now, you mentioned Yansamaya. I'm not sure what that refers to. Is that maybe a type of journal or something I should be aware of? But in general, for making journaling easier, experiment with different types of prompts. Sometimes specific ones work, sometimes more abstract ones do. And don't be afraid to create your own. They tend to be the most meaningful because they tap into exactly what you need to explore at that moment. What do you think? Does any of that sound helpful?
Okay, so driver. Oh, my next question from you is, how do prompts?
I'm still
Okay,
here.
how do prompts help overcome writer blocks? So please give me answer to this question.
You're asking how prompts help with writer's block, and that's a really smart question. Writer's block is basically when your mind feels stuck and you can't access ideas, right? Prompts act as this little mental kickstart that bypasses that block. Instead of trying to conjure something from nothing, you're responding to something concrete. You don't have to create the topic, it's already there waiting for you. Think of it like warming up your creative muscles before a workout. Prompts are the warm up. They lower the stakes too. You're not trying to write the perfect novel, just responding to a question. They also break you out of overthinking. Sometimes the block is just the internal editor screaming, "This isn't good enough," before you even write a sentence. A prompt cuts through that by forcing you to simply respond. Even better, different types of prompts work for different types of block. If you're overwhelmed, super specific prompts help break things down. If you're bored, weirder, or unexpected, prompts can shock things loose. Here are some prompts to fight a writer's block. 1. Write about the last time you felt completely alone. 2. Describe the color blue without actually using the word blue. Imagine you woke up with a superpower. What is it, and how do you use it today? 4. Write a letter to someone you need to forgive, even if you never send it. 5. What's a tiny decision you made today that could have big consequences later? Each one's got a different angle on breaking that wall.
Okay, so my next question from you is, can I create my own journaling prompts and what is gratitude journaling? Please give me very interesting answer on this topic. Let's.
Absolutely. You can totally create your own journaling prompts. In fact, that's when they become most powerful. Pre-made prompts are helpful starting points, but the ones that really hit home are always the ones that spring directly from your life, your struggles, your curiosities. The most effective prompts are usually questions that make you pause and think, or that tap into something you're already pondering. For example, if you're working through a difficult relationship decision, don't search for a generic prompt. Ask yourself, what do I genuinely want from this situation? Even if it feels selfish, or what's the worst case scenario? And am I prepared to handle that? Your prompt should be hyper relevant to what you're navigating. Now, let's talk about gratitude journaling. It's essentially focusing on what you're thankful for and writing it down. Sounds simple, and it is. It's been shown to improve mood, reduce, even boost your sense of well-being. Science shows that reflect positive experiences actually changes how your brain works, creating more pathways for gratitude and resilience. The practice itself is pretty straightforward. You can write a list of things you're grateful for. You can write about one thing in detail. You can even just focus on one moment during your day. But here's the thing. Gratitude journaling isn't just about listing, "I'm grateful for food and shelter." It's about digging deeper. Instead of I'm grateful for my friend, try I'm grateful for my friend Sarah because she always knows how to make me laugh when I'm down. Specificity makes it powerful. People who do it regularly report feeling more optimistic, more content, and better connected to others. I'm still here if you want to keep going.
Okay, so Maya, my next question from you is how many things should I write daily in gratitude journal, and how does gratitude journaling affect mood? Can gratitude journaling reduce stress? So please give me answer on this question. Let's start the answer, Maya, and please give me.
Okay, you're asking how much to write in a gratitude journal and how it affects mood and stress. First off, there's no magic number. Some people write one thing, others write 10. It really depends on what feels right for you. There's research suggesting that writing about 3 to 5 specific things might be the sweet spot, enough to get a good emotional impact without feeling overwhelming. But honestly, even just listing one meaningful thing consistently is better than nothing. The key isn't quantity, it's the quality of what you write about. It's better to focus deeply on one thing you truly appreciate than to write a generic list of 5 that feel empty. Now, how does gratitude help mood and stress? Scientifically, it's about neuroplasticity, essentially. Your brain can physically change based on experiences. When you regularly focus on gratitude, you're strengthening those neural pathways, making it easier for positive emotions to come up. Gratitude literally rewires your brain. Studies show it increases activity in the prefrontal cortex associated with positive thinking and the hypothalamus, which regulates hormones like cortisol. When you express gratitude, you're also releasing dopamine and serotonin, those feel-good chemicals that boost your mood. For stress reduction, gratitude helps in a few ways. It shifts your focus away from worries and anxieties towards things you have and positive aspects of your life. It increases resilience by teaching your brain to look for the good even in tough times. People who practice gratitude consistently also tend to sleep better, which in turn helps regulate stress hormones. There's a lot of neuroscience backing this stuff up. It's not just feel good woo woo, there's solid biology behind gratitude's impact.
This was Maya. I will video my next topic.
Take your time. I'm still
Okay,
here whenever you're ready to dive back in.
it's Korean time. It's out. So this was Maya.